Hi, that was a hell of a fucking beginning.
Don't worry about it, folks.
Don't worry about it, everything is fine.
That's why we're the #1 podcast on... Just took a picture of you guys, because I love you.
Fantastic.
Wait, what? No, get out of here.
No.
Welcome to The Tip. Week number 10.
God, that vanilla Coke makes me so jelly that I don't live in America.
Do you actually like vanilla Coke?
It's so good.
You're a heathen.
Oh my god, you're like the only fucking person I've run into.
It's so fucking good. It's like
Heathens.
the best thing.
Heathens. This podcast is brought to you by Vanilla Coke.
Anytime
And Slim
I go
Jims.
to Washington, I buy like 4
Slim
cases
Jims.
of vanilla Coke. Because
Oh my
it's like...
god, me too.
Slim Jim. Alright, back on track.
Yes.
Welcome to week 10 of the podcast, everybody. The Tip Podcast, a Monday night podcast where we cover game news, tech news, game industry updates, and general penis length, size, and girth. Yes. I am TGPNate, TheGamePit, Nate, a million other names, also known as Kitty Cat Tato at the moment. To my left over there, right side of the screen, is Mr. Supergrey38, Canadian extraordinaire maple syrup aficionado. And down at the bottom, as always, is Mr. SpikeSethen, SpikeSethenTV everywhere else, Twitch's own FAQ, bearded bastard.
I am
Balding.
not a bastard. Balding is accurate.
Balding is accurate. Sponsored by Amp, Monster, and Slim Jim.
I'm wearing an Amp shirt.
So yeah.
If we throw enough products at the stream, eventually somebody will to sponsor it.
It's gotta happen, right? I mean, we got
Eventually someone's going to be like, they just do this anyway. And
brought to you by Cream Soda. Give me all the free cream soda, please.
Please. Alright.
Alright. So, normally, as we progress through this, we don't initially address chat throughout the podcast. We have a Q&A session at the end that is reserved for you guys to ask us questions and us ask you a question as well.
Do we have a bunch of responses from the last week's question?
No.
You people! Get on it!
Rate us.
It'll happen in time.
Do your homework. This
Supposed
is
to do your
college, kind of.
You'll notice I've shortened the question this week to a very simple thing.
You have 0 credits for this course.
You realize that question's so
any job.
you realize that question's so simple that everyone's going to answer it the moment we ask it in chat.
That's fine. I'll log them all.
We'll just ignore them.
Yep, we will ignore them until next week.
Awesome.
But the question on everybody's mind today is, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow pregnant? Gray, we start with you.
I would apply for family allowance.
I'm going to steal an answer from a friend. I said this question to them, and they said, or I agree with it. This is why I'm going to repeat it. I would milk it for all of the money humanly possible. I would write books, do documentaries, do videos on the internet, movies. I'd put my body up for medical experimentation. All of the money. I am a male pregnant man that has never received an injection of another male man, but I am pregnant. Give me money. Just give me all of the money.
Can I change my answer then?
Right?
Grace, like, yes!
I want to change my answer because I realized if I woke up tomorrow pregnant, I feel like I should be the star of the Junior reboot.
Awesome.
You're the perfect fit in for Arnold Schwarzenegger. So
Yes. But Danny DeVito should also still be, like, my co-star.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Bring along the whole It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia cast.
Sorry if I cough in advance and I don't get to mute my mic in time. I have the mouse over the mute button, but I am still quite congested and coughing shit up, so... Just warning. Sorry about that, came out of nowhere. Just warning.
Yeah. Fuck. I don't know. Both of those are superbly viable answers. I guess I would just use it as an excuse to eat all the fucking Klondike bars I want to. Like, I'm pregnant, I have needs. I can literally only eat Klondike bars because that's what the baby wants.
You'd be pregnant, so you'd probably eat them with, like, ketchup and pickles.
Oh, okay. So that was that. So then we move along to the... Yeah, well, he's gone forever now. Fuck him.
I mean, it's not without evidence.
Yeah.
Look at that hairline.
So we move along to the releases this week.
Do I have to answer 3 questions before I cross the bridge?
Jesus.
Must I answer these questions 3?
Releases this week. Holy fuck. Tomorrow, we see the release of Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, the side-scrolling Assassin's Creed game, on the PC, the PS4, and the Xbox One. Tomorrow, we also see the release of Shovel Knight on the PS4 and the PS Vita. Shovel Knight's so good. If you don't already have it, buy it. Do it.
Meh.
Meh.
I'm not a fan of Shovel Knight, so...
So good.
You know, just good old Spike hates everything you love.
Have you heard Paper Camelot?
Are you talking about the soundtrack? It's different.
Yeah, the soundtrack is amazing.
Mhm.
Paper Camelot's like one of the greatest songs ever made.
Dude, Jake Kaufman knows what he's doing with music. Jake Kaufman is amazeballs. Avengers Age of Ultron Pinball releases tomorrow on the PC, PS3, PS4, PS Vita, Xbox 360, and Xbox One.
It's weird that video games killed pinball and then brought it back to life.
Basically, yeah. The Evil Within The Consequence DLC comes out tomorrow for the PC, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One.
Playing that.
Tomorrow we see the release of Convoy on the PC. Don't ask me what that is.
I don't know either, so...
Ziggurat on the PS4.
That game is so fucking good.
Really?
It's yeah. It's an arena-styled roguelike game. You play a wizard / mage / warlock / spellcaster of some sort. It's one of the only roguelike games that I actually thoroughly enjoy. It's quite good.
Interesting.
It's also on Steam, just so you are aware that it's not only going to be PS4. It's on Steam.
Yeah. I was looking into it on Steam, but I wasn't sure about it.
It's pretty good. And it gets really hard, really fucking fast.
Yeah.
Good to know.
No. We also see the release of Wild Frontera on the PC. And then the one I give the most shit about, Killing Floor 2 Early Access releases tomorrow.
I'm not that excited.
Get out of here!
I haven't...
Banned from the podcast
really cared
forever.
about that game at all while you guys were playing. I made it very clear that I didn't want to play.
He just himself with the game out of jealousy.
Alright.
This game's crap now. It's fucking whatever.
Right. Alright. April 22nd, we see the release of Infinity Runner on the PS4 and Xbox One. Guess what kind of game that is?
Is it a mobile kind of
RPG
Tactical RPG.
with a linear plot.
Is it like the mobile?
It's a runner game.
Temp runner
Yeah.
games.
It's just a runner.
Wow.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Alright. April 23rd, we see the release of the Mario Kart 8 DLC Pack 2 for the Wii U. And Forgotten...
Is that the one with the 200cc, or is that just an update?
That was just an update. That's already out.
200cc is amazing, though.
It is super fucking fast.
It's so cool.
It feels the best that Mario Kart has ever felt. Too bad Nintendo, but... Not on cast, but I'm still playing it in private because I'm terrible. And Forgotten Memories Alternate Realities on the iOS.
Never heard of it.
Yep. And then April 24th, we see Dungeons 2 on the PC. Couldn't tell you about Dungeons 1.
Dungeons 1, that classic that everyone remembers.
Dungeons 2. I mean, while you guys talk about, like, or continue on to it, I'm actually going to look at what Dungeons 2 is.
Right.
Oh, wait. Never mind. I think I know what this is. Don't care.
There's your consensus.
It's, alright.
That's the official opinion of the Tip podcast.
It's like, alright. How do I explain this? Dungeon. Alright. You know Dungeon Keeper?
Mm-hmm.
You know how EA recently, put yeah. It's, Dungeons 2 is basically the exact same thing.
No. Well.
It's basically like Dungeon Keeper.
Right. Alright. So as we move along into the game updates that have come out this week, Oddworld Abe's Exodus is getting a full ground-up remake. The same thing that they did for Abe's Odyssey.
Yes.
From the ground up, completely new.
Very happy about that. Because the Abe's Odyssey remake, new and tasty, turned out really well.
Mm-hmm. It got pretty high marks. People who loved Oddworld loved it. I've not touched an Oddworld game in a very long time, so...
I mean, they're puzzle platformers.
Yeah.
If you don't like puzzle platformers, you won't like it. But if you like them, it's pretty much like one of the defining games of the genre.
Oh, so I won't like it.
You don't like anything, so I don't...
It's true. I dislike everything you like. Except for Killing Floor 2 and pizza.
Except for Killing Floor 2 and pizza. Amazing.
And Vanilla Coke.
And Vanilla Coke.
Yeah, you're like one of the only other people.
But that's only because everybody else hates Vanilla Coke. He loves that out of spite.
It's true. Exactly the reason why.
Alright.
Spite is the flavor that...
The spite is the flavor. Hearthstone is now going to be available, or is now already available, on the iPhone and Android phones.
Not the tablets.
Right,
It already
the
was.
phones.
Now it's phones.
So now you can play Hearthstone literally everywhere.
Which it is a good card game.
It's not without its problems in the pay scheme. If nobody paid for anything, it'd still be amazing.
Yeah, that's fucking Spike. Don't pyramid your own podcast.
Alright. For any of those people out there who played any of EA's free-to-play titles, 4 of them are going away. Gone. Bye-bye. No care given. Battlefield Heroes, Battlefield Play for Free, Need for Speed World, and FIFA World will all be discontinued.
I don't know exactly when this is happening, but by discontinued, it quite literally means it's gone.
Yep.
No longer supporting it at all. Yep.
We have the min recommended system requirements for Killing Floor 2 available from Tripwire. Also included in that is info on what is in the Digital Deluxe Edition, which, to very quickly run that down, it's going to... The Digital Deluxe Edition will go for $40 instead of $30 for the standard release. It's going to come with the DJ Scully character, a unique voice pack, a set of face and body skins, the Scully phones, headphones, attachment for the gear, 3D glasses for the gear, bowler hat for the gear, a digital art book and soundtrack, and a copy of Killing Floor, obviously.
Killing Floor sold separately.
But yeah, I honestly think the Digital Deluxe is a pretty good deal. Just the art book and the soundtrack alone, I think justifies the extra $10.
Yeah.
Let alone all the cheap kind of aesthetic in-game stuff.
Which, with Tripwire, typically is paid DLC down the road anyways, so...
Yeah, it'll probably be... I mean, to be honest, they'll probably sell the soundtrack separate. A lot of different games do that nowadays.
Yeah.
You should just time it so that it's exclusive for a little bit.
Yeah, and the recommended specs are actually kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're mid-range, older mid-range, like 500 series NVIDIA, 6000 series AMD. So most of the people that have a computer that's around 3 years old will be able to run this game quite well.
Yeah, I would assume so. Next parts. We've got an official statement from Eidos Montreal stating that the new Deus Ex game, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, will be 100% ghostable, able to be stealth, even in the boss fights, unlike the original release of Human Revolution.
Yeah, that will be nice.
And will feature the hardcore stealth mode Give Me Deus Ex as well. Australia's AAA dev studio situation is now as dire as could possibly be because they just lost their last one. 2K Australia has been closed.
Yeah, that...
Every single job terminated. There are no more AAA dev studios left in Australia now.
I was completely... Australia.
I was unaware that Australia had such a small amount of, higher tier development teams. I thought
they actually had a few for a while. That's the thing, is they were a pretty fastly growing, game industry.
Yeah, 2K was there. I'm pretty sure Ubisoft had a sector in Australia.
So did, and Rockstar was working with that one company, and they made LA Noire. Mm-hmm. And that was an Australian company that did, all the tech for that. And they were really promising. And then... Yeah, they had a whole bunch of stuff going on in Australia, and now gone.
Yeah.
Now it's just a few small guys.
I kind of agree with what Z said.
Mm-hmm.
What Zed said?
This is what happens when you censor the hell out of your video games. Australia's censorship and rating system is just
insane.
It's fucking way over the top for no reason.
Yeah. If you think England is bad, look at Australia. It's so bad.
They basically outright said that Hotline Miami 2 just could not sell in that country, period.
Which is insane, considering they sold Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Right.
Even then, they got a censored copy of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know Australia is the reason they call the drugs in Fallout 3 chems.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't call them drugs, so they had to call them chems. And,
really?
It's literally the same fucking thing. And it's
don't do drugs, kids. Do chemicals.
Tiny side note and interesting fact: Fallout 3 actually cannot be sold in India because of the creature known as the Brahmin, which is also a spirit that they worship or a god, right?
The Brahmin is a religious leader in Hinduism.
Interesting.
So they found it insulting
that you could kill him. Specifically, that you can kill the Brahmin.
Because
again, I could see where they might be a little sensitive about that.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Sikhs care, but
Trine 3 was announced, and very shortly after, we know exactly when it's happening. That news happened within a week of each other. They were like, "Hey, Trine 3 exists. Here's exactly when it's coming out." Which it's going to be hitting Steam Early Access April 21st, tomorrow.
Okay, it's Killing Floor 2.
That is, when I put this on there, I wasn't even really paying attention to the date. So, yeah, they've got some heavy competition in Steam Early Access. I love Trine. Trine is a fantastic co-op experience, but Killing Floor 2 is just...
also a fantastic experience.
I mean, I was just kind of surprised. It just came out of nowhere. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody knew anything. Even though it was, had a decent following. And then just all of a sudden, Trine, there, you got it.
Yeah, they're like, here's exactly what it looks like. And then a couple days later, they were like, here's exactly when it's hitting Steam Early Access. You'll have the first 2 maps to go through. The price, we don't know. The price, we don't know yet.
Marketing campaign.
Yeah,
we're releasing this game you love tomorrow.
Basically.
I wonder, is it on Steam yet?
Way to keep the hype, right?
You know, I've been paying so much attention to Killing Floor 2, I didn't even look for it in the store.
Trine 3 is in fact on Steam, but just like Killing Floor 2, it has no price tag yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to wait because I think it's like just because they're early access usually.
It unlocks 3 hours before Killing Floor 2, though. So
Fuck
there's
you,
something.
Trine.
Considering the length of Trine, you could probably beat what content is there by the time Killing Floor 2
Exactly.
comes
We could have 2 co-op Tuesdays.
Nice. Alright, CD Projekt Red has confirmed when all of the digital copies for The Witcher 3 will unlock, which is 1 a.m. These times are very weird to me, the way they state them. 1 a.m. CET on May 19th.
which is probably their local time frame.
Right. And then that translates to here in the US, 4 p.m. Pacific Daytime, 7 p.m. Eastern Daytime on May 18th, which is not the same as PST and EST. There are slight differences, so...
Yeah, technically we're in, because it happens because of daylight savings time.
Mm-hmm.
The shift in time puts it in a different time zone, so they just relabel it. BST and GMT are the same thing.
Right. Alright, Star Wars Battlefront. I was going to put a number behind that, and I realized there wasn't one. Star Wars Battlefront, the new Battlefront game, which is basically Battlefield Star Wars, if you've been paying attention at all to it.
Yeah.
Confirmed for November 17th release on the PS4, PC, and the Xbox One. Their statements are that there will be 40 concurrent players on a map at once in both ground and air combat, and they'll also be releasing free downloadable maps 2 weeks before the new Star Wars movie is released. So as they're hyped towards the new Star Wars movie, they're going to be putting out a new map that I suppose ties into the new movie.
Yeah.
Soren was way out of the loop.
Just kind of disappointed that it's not actually Battlefront. And that it's just Star Wars Battlefield.
Basically, yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyways. This next one is very exciting.
Crypt of the Necrodancer no longer in early access as of April 23rd.
Fucking love Necrodancer.
It's a pretty solid game.
Its final release then.
Necrodance my fucking heart out.
If you like Crypt of the Necrodancer and you've been waiting for the full release, that's everything that is going to be in the final.
Or fucking Danny B and his goddamn amazing music.
Oh
Fuck
god,
Danny
what's that
B
name?
makes good
Planet
music.
Side? There we go.
Like the good old Donkey Konga.
Donkey
Do you think that's an accurate statement?
Basically going to be PlanetSide 2 then? I mean, to a point.
Battlefield Star Wars, doesn't it seem kind of PlanetSide 2-y?
With less well, it is EA.
Nice.
There won't be as many Oh, wait a minute. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still going to be kind of its own thing, but it's definitely born from the experiences of the dev house making it, you know? It's very samey to the things that they have worked on.
It's not in this game.
I've never played Star Wars Battlefront or any of the older Star Wars games ever.
Yeah.
Battlefront was amazing.
I mean, from all accounts, it's not going to feel like the Battlefront you remember. Whether that's a good thing, a bad thing.
That's exactly.
Won't know until everybody gets their hands on it, really.
Yeah.
Considering things, I'll probably enjoy it and everyone will hate it.
You'll be like the one streamer. Like
this game's amazing! You're a fucking loser. I don't care about the lore.
Nice. So everybody remember Dark Souls 2? Remember the Dark Souls 2 releases on PC and newer consoles that had the problem that 60 FPS meant that your items drained twice as fast because it wasn't 30 FPS, and that's what they tied the durability to. That problem long ago, finally getting a fix from Software. After all this time.
Almost a year.
Almost a year, and they said the fix is going to come out so that the durability frame rate problem isn't a problem anymore, but we still don't know when it's going to come out. We're working on it, but who knows?
After an entire goddamn re-release.
Yeah, that doesn't... I don't even understand why that Dark Souls 2 Scholars or whatever is even on the market. As a separate game. Whatever.
Yeah, it's dumb. But they're making a killing doing it, apparently, so there was actually business.
The Souls fans are dumb as balls. Shots fired.
What the fuck, dude?
Did you just throw your phone?
Through my Game Boy Micro.
What is a Game Boy Micro?
It's the little...
It's a Game Boy Advance that is this big.
Those things are rad.
They're so good.
I have this.
I put it on my keychain.
The Game Boy Micro? That's weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking amazing.
Fucking Canadian. Alright. Zarin, how many times have you put that quote in my chat since we started this podcast? 1, 2... Okay, only 2. Right. I wanted it at least 20 more times.
Alright, well, I'm eating our sponsor, so somebody go ahead and talk about that first topic.
Well, I'm drinking our other sponsor.
Alright, so...
What the fuck is that?
That's the first time that's ever been here, but now it's a sponsor. Sponsored by whoever the shitballs that was.
Yeah, sponsored by literally whoever we want it to be.
So, this is something that I heard about a long time ago. And I'm kind of surprised it's actually on here now.
That's because they increased things.
Oh, so they changed it. All right. Well, in summary,
sentencing.
In summary, in the UK, they kind of put forth kind of legislation that's a while back, and they recently modified it. But essentially, it was to stop online trolling. I think I mentioned this on my cast at one point a while back. Essentially, they're trying to stop people from being ass bags on the internet. And as you all know, didn't fucking work, but they changed the times, minimum sentencing and such, apparently.
Yep.
Proposed legislation now in effect quadruples the previous maximum sentence. Alright, so it used to be 6 months is how long you could be put in prison for being known as a cyber bully on the internet in the UK. And now it's up to 2 years to being a cyberbully. Now, briefly, I kind of want to throw in there that I believe this legislation actually worded it in such a way that people were getting trouble for saying that other people were stupid.
What?
I
literally
honestly,
to that degree they were taking it?
Yeah, I think that there were certain people that were taking the words retarded and stupid, which by the way shouldn't refer to people as retarded, but either way, they were doing it to such extreme levels that you could blanket charge everyone on the fucking internet with it.
That's kind of intense.
But now they apparently changed the maximum sentence to up to 2 years. Honestly, I think this is a horrible decision, but if you're in the UK, fucking be careful.
Do anything. They can make it life in prison and there's still going to be internet trolls.
Well, you see, there's a couple specific problems here, is that they've increased the maximum sentence. There's no statement on what the minimum sentence could be, but it has to be a UK resident. And you're talking about a global-wide net of people.
Yeah.
So even if you're in the UK and you're getting trolled super hard by somebody, that somebody is probably in Australia or America or Switzerland or somewhere that isn't you, that they're not going to get in trouble for it.
And the thing is, you could... I think this is more of a threat to stupid people than it is a threat to actual legitimate online users, because you can use fucking proxies that cloak your IP and put you in some other part of the goddamn planet. And then you can just be an asshole by proxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just but you explain the problem right there, is that it's more for stupid people. Stupid people are the ones who don't give a shit about jail sentences. Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't do anything. But I mean, it's also 6 months itself is too long for the crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want to give somebody 10 hours of community service because they called someone, some sort of racial slur on the internet? Fucking fine. You need to clean up the highways anyways. But it's like...
Exactly.
But it's
if they took that route, the entire highways would be clean within a month.
it'd be amazing.
The planet would be spotless. Are you fucking
The
kidding me?
United Kingdom would have the cleanest country in the fucking world. But like, the problem is that you're taking people who are being idiots on the internet, and let's face it, anonymity and all that other shit makes people fucking stupid.
Yep.
You're taking people who are basically just saying words, and it's not like it's not like defamation or anything that seriously hurts people's reputation. It's just people being bad people. But you're ruining their entire life because you go to jail. That's it, man. Have fun finding a fucking job. Like,
exactly.
Like you've just screwed that person, and now like you're gonna make actual fucking criminals out of them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a petty punishment that just exacerbates situations.
Yeah, and you have to look at the actual text of this law itself. The part that I specifically pulled out was that it adheres to anybody sending messages or items with the intention of causing distress or anxiety. Anybody could cause distress or anxiety depending on their own mental aptitude, just purely because of that. If you want to impose this on people who are swatting or whatever, if they're taking it to a level like that, then yes.
But there's other laws to cover that, though.
Exactly.
It's reckless endangerment for one.
Right.
It's like, I can't remember what the law's called, but it's basically impeding the police. There's like a million laws that will stick you in jail for years for doing something that hurts somebody's life. Like, this is honestly, the way this law is worded, within the last 5 minutes, we could have all been convicted.
Yeah, basically.
We just criticized and called the lawmakers stupid.
Yep. Basically.
And now they are distressed.
I very much intended for them to feel stupid for making this law. Like,
it was...
Thank God I live in Canada, and to be fair, they do have extradition treaties with us.
Our opinions and thoughts are not the opinions and thoughts of the Slim Jim Company.
It's like...
Norco? These thoughts are our own.
It's thought police, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super ridiculous.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not like I fucking support trolls, but it's not only a poorly worded law, but it's also just going to exacerbate the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on from that one.
Problems.
GameStop is trying to remain relevant. They are now going to be testing these specific markets with buying and trading old gaming hardware and software.
I love how they're trying to remain relevant by going backwards.
Well, I mean, there is a very strong trade community for retro gaming systems. There's, in Phoenix alone, I can name probably about 13 or 14 stores that are doing well off because of it.
Yeah.
And they saw that, and they know their numbers are dwindling, so they're like, well, all of these little indie companies are selling things and making profits, so let's try that. Because we don't know how the fuck to keep our business going at this point.
Yeah.
It's not just working off of Game Informer subscriptions.
I don't want this to happen because I feel like it will raise the price when I'm like looking for things. Because they'll just artificially inflate it, and then that will inflate the market price.
Exactly. That's what they would... That's why I'm... Alright. One of my big concerns is the same lines of what Gray said. And another thing, what Machine Annie said, which is the conversion rates are going to be fucking pointless. Mm-hmm. Like, there you go. GameStop will buy a retro console for $1.50, then resell it for $70 to $150.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what are they honestly going to give you and expect to make a return on it? Because we already know that GameStop is a notorious company for selling or buying things from people at an exorbitantly low price and then reselling it at borderline full price.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like a lot of these indie companies that like you know, they're pretty fair about it because it's their passion, right? I mean, obviously they're still trying to make a profit.
Yeah, I would still say even with them, the market prices are still fairly high from all of my experiences with them so far. GameCube shit is ridiculous. The amount that GameCube shit gets resold for right now is dumb. Super Mario Sunshine, you can't get for less than $120.
Oh, what did I found Mega Man Legends.
Double the original price of the
Mega
fucking
Man
game.
Legends is $99. That's why I didn't end up picking it up.
Jesus.
But it's like, but also, I mean, Mega Man Legends is like next to impossible for people to find. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as people like go to pick it up, it's gone, or sell it, it's gone. It's like right away.
Yeah.
So this is supposed to cover systems ranging from the original NES to like PlayStation 2 sort of.
Well, yeah. I mean, quite specifically, GameStop stopped taking in PS2s a while back, and then they started again not too long ago. What this test market will have them taking in is NESs, SNESs, original Genesises, PlayStation 1, N64, and the Dreamcast. Those are all of the things that they're going to trade for.
So retro.
Retro.
Well, I mean, it is in Alabama, so current.
Get fucking shit on Alabama.
I honestly don't know, man. Fucking like I personally, this is pure personal opinion. I find GameStop to be one of the biggest problems in this entire industry.
I was literally just about to say the same thing. My thing is like GameStop has like I have so little trust for that company anymore that like I don't even walk in. I'm the same way. It's such a sketchy company that out of all the companies that could have been doing this, it's the one I'm least excited for.
Yeah.
They are fucking. It's a racket. Like that's why people. They are one of the main reasons I feel like fucking digital is skyrocketing because dealing with them is such a hassle all the time.
Well, all right. So here's actual market reason why digital is doing better than physical retail right now
in the U.S.
Or
let's
in
mark
the U.S.
that.
Yeah, in the U.S. Because Japan doesn't buy anything digitally.
No, actually, this as a very little side note here, something that I came across during the research. The U.S. and China are very high in digital sales. The U.K. as a whole is very much still into box sales. They're very reluctant into digital. Their percentages are minimal at best.
Yeah, Poland's kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why the digital market is doing so well compared to the physical market in the United States is you could actually point to GameStop directly for it. If you remember way back when games would come out, they would be like $30, right? Mm-hmm. And this was pre-resale, right? This is used game explosion market that was basically, GameStop, EB Games, and then further down the road, stuff like Walmart and such that started picking it up. And then that price, the $30 game tag, went up as well. And the reason why it went up is because they started losing huge amounts of money from resale. Because when you buy a game from someone else and then you resell it, there's no obligation to give any of that resale money to the developer or publisher or anything like that. It's 100% profit because you already sold the license to begin with. So that's why prices on physical copies are, $60, $70, $80, $90, $120. And when you go turn to Steam, which is a digital platform, you see games that come out $60 and then within maybe a couple months drop 20%.
Mm-hmm.
With the odd exception from major companies, yeah, they drop pretty fast. Because once they have their initial profits, they know that they can keep sale momentum going.
Yeah, because there's no resale portion that's cutting out of their profits. It's
right.
Exactly.
just like on digital platforms, it becomes profit for the developer at even a loss, which is why they can justify that big sale so close to after release, because they're still making profit off of it even at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes. As far as the actual information on it, April 25th is when this starts up. It's going to be in 250 GameStop stores across New York itself as a state and Birmingham, Alabama. Just all of New York and Birmingham, Alabama. It's just kind of amazing.
Briefly,
Couldn't have
what
picked
Machine
two
Annie just
vastly
said.
different states.
If you've seen the pricing for digital over here, you'd know why. All right, now here's the thing. One of the major reasons why the pricing over there is so, overpriced, is because companies like Origin and Steam and like Valve and all that stuff don't even give a shit about conversion rates. Like $60 is 60 pounds. That's what they see it. Even though the number actually comes out to a fuck ton more at 60 pounds than what $60 is.
Oh, yeah.
Which segue into yet another week of saying it. Another week of the Tip Podcast talking about GOG. Actually spends the time to convert the rates so that it's right.
It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Instead of, well, the Americans are paying $60, so we'll just charge the UK people £60, and now they're paying X amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steam started doing that too. From what
Not very well.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I think just because Steam still prices whatever the company wants them to.
Yeah.
But if they have the chance, they convert it, I guess. But yeah, GOG, man. Fucking
Yep.
GOG.
Just buy from GOG.
That's got to be our actual sponsor at some point,
Can
right?
you just
I mean,
get
we've
it-
talked about GOG every single fucking week since this thing started, I'm pretty sure.
Do you think we can actually just like contact GOG? Like, I mean, like all if us three, and then like a bunch of people from our audience kind of go to GOG and be all like, "Hey, Tip Podcast constantly shouting out GOG, pushing up. This is good. This is a good platform. This is where you should be buying games."
Just point them to
et
my
cetera, et
YouTube or your YouTube. They'll see it. They're like, wow, every single episode they talk about us.
Can we just
And
get
we'll
like...
just have a big GOG banner all over our faces.
I was about to
if
say...
it's just as simple as like a discount like code that we can give our viewers, that when they go there with that code, they can get a
That
little
would be
bit.
amazing. I would like to just support them. Like, we don't have to get money or... Like, you know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like,
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
I
no.
just want to support that company because they deserve it. Honestly, we should literally just have, like, a banner that just explodes. Like, GOG time! Or, like, GOG segment. Because that's how much we fucking talk about this company.
Basically.
No, yeah.
Okay, Mac. DRM is also a horrible thing, which is kind of what you're talking about. The publishers that lock down the keys as a one-shot, so people like a one-shot use key. That's a form of DRM, and that's also kind of
Bullshit.
consumer not friendly.
Mm-hmm.
GOG doesn't do that.
And it won't be a goddamn issue.
Oh my god.
They're just
The shilling is so hard and they're not even supporting us. Come on,
know.
people. I'm contacting them this week. That's it.
do it. Fucking do it.
Mm.
So this next article,
Should definitely
No,
be
that's-
brought up by Gray,
yeah,
our resident Bloodborne expert.
Oh, quote unquote. Alright, so there is a item in Bloodborne that makes the game harder without actually telling you it does. One person has recently discovered that the hand lantern, which is a light source that you can basically it allows you to carry both your weapons and have a light source at the same time, which is kind of important in the game because it can get really dark. But what they found is that it reduces the speed of your stamina regeneration. There is literally nothing in the game that tells you that that's something it does. And it can take at least, or it can take about a second longer, which if you've ever played a Souls game or if you've been watching people play Bloodborne, is a really fucking long time in that game.
A second means a lot.
Yeah, a second is like the difference between life and death pretty much all the time. Like, if you've been watching me play the game, pretty much every time I died, it's because I was like a quarter of a second too late in making a move.
Yeah, if you're fighting more than one enemy, a second means everything. And your stamina is literally your ability to move. Once your stamina runs out, you're not dodging the fuck out the way. You gotta sit there and you've gotta wait.
Oh, you can slowly saunter away.
Yeah.
So yeah, what K-Max said, the GOG game of the week thing, maybe that's something we could do?
Maybe.
I'm down with that.
Because me and Nate were talking earlier about doing like sales.
Yeah,
you know, if there's a sales on a game, we announce that. And then he said that that's kind of hard to do because normally the sales are over the weekend and they're over by the time they're done here, etc. But, you know, GOG's got sales going fucking every goddamn day. Right now, Evo Land is 70% off, and that's good. That's a good 8 hours of fun.
But yeah, the big thing with this Bloodborne thing, and what, even though I've not played Bloodborne, it actually pissed me off, it's just that you can read the item description, and it doesn't say a goddamn thing about this in the least. If it even just said, like, makes it harder to move, that would have been enough for me. I went into Zeladon's stream the other night. Zeladon, who me and Spike know for random raiding him. Yeah. And he was playing Bloodborne, and I went, oh, you're using the hand lantern. Did you hear about that? And he goes, what? And I go, your stamina regeneration is a full second slower because of that. He goes, well, fuck that. And he got rid of it.
I don't know. I didn't actually really hate that because it was so in line with that fucking game. Like, it's just, like, there's, like, items, there's one item that people are still trying to figure out what the fuck it does.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, because so many things in that game are supposed to be, like, a mystery until somebody, because it's a very, like, the whole idea with, like, From Software is they're trying to, like, even with the Souls games, they want, like, a really strong community that, like, works together to, like, figure out mysteries and, like, figures all this stuff out together. And I just felt it was, like, right in line with all the other shit in their games, which is, like people working together and then figuring this out. I get that it pisses people off, but for me, it just kind of made me giggle a little bit because it was like, yeah, that sounds like exactly something they would do.
I don't know, if I had been playing the game, I would have been extremely annoyed. And it's such a prevalent item in so many playthroughs I've seen. Everybody uses the hand lantern because it's so useful. Have a light source there, still be able to hold your weapons.
I haven't actually touched it, and I don't even know if I have the item.
Awesome.
like anytime it's been dark, I've been like, hey, I guess I'm just gonna walk into walls until I find my way out.
Fucking. So you're safe because you're dumb.
That's what you're getting at. That's how I play video games.
Amazing. Oh, gray or something else sometimes.
That's me.
Alright. Valve has enforced some new rules on Steam in an attempt to reduce spamming and phishing with accounts. So now, if you have a Steam account and you haven't spent at least $5 in store, or have added at least $5 to your account wallet, you'll be restricted access to friend invites, group chats, voting on Greenlight, submitting content to the workshop, and a whole list of other things, including what will and will not unlock your account. And basically how it works is, it doesn't matter how many fucking games you have on Steam. If you haven't spent a dime on them, like if they were all gifts, then your account has this problem until you spend at least $5 on Steam. It seems a little overly aggressive to me.
I wouldn't mind if, when you got a gift, it did the same thing as putting $5 on. If you now have, or even if you just were like playing free-to-play games, and the games have been played, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't just download them.
Mm-hmm.
I get what they're trying to do, though. I support that idea, because phishing is obviously a huge issue.
I support the idea. I think the execution is terrible.
Yeah, it's a bad execution. They do need to do something about phishing, but I believe it should be, you have $5 in store credit, or you've played 10 hours of game, or you have games in your library. You know what I mean? Like it should just look like an active account, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
they get better than $5 in the store. Like, that's just the laziest way they could have done it. I don't think it's to make money. I think it's simply they just were easy. I think it's the easiest thing to program. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like $5 equals, account unlocked is basically how that works. Like, I think they need to.
I mean, that's essentially what this boils down to now, right? Is if you've only used Steam for gifted games or the free-to-play library.
What about all the fucking Dota 2 players?
Basically.
Exactly, like, that's a huge part of their fucking community. And I'm betting you a lot of them haven't spent a goddamn dollar on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like...
I mean, yeah, it's $5. Whatever, it's $5.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's not a lot of money, but the fact that you can use Steam without spending money means there should be other ways to do it.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm actually going to bring up something after this in a brief kind of like article intervention thing.
And granted, a lot of the stuff they're restricting you to isn't necessary for really using Steam. I mean, unless you're into like the profile levels and the trading cards and you're worried about that at all.
Sending friend invites?
Fucking who needs friends? Get fucked.
Yeah, I only have 8 online.
Yeah. Friend invites is definitely because that kind of shows an active account anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is only $5. It still feels like there was a far better way they could have went about it. I guess is what it boils down to.
That's ultimately it for me. It feels like
if somebody's put in 1,000 hours into their account, they're probably using that account.
Yeah. It's a very lazily... It's just a lazy way of doing it. But, I mean, I still support the idea. I just don't support its execution.
Yeah, basically. What do you got there, Spikus?
Spikus Maximus.
Okay, so essentially, Machine mentioned this. GOG CD Projekt Red embrace regional pricing. This article that was given here. Essentially, this... I don't know. This seems almost like a biased article from some douchebag. I'm serious. Like,
yeah,
all right.
It is on a site called Savvy Gamer.
Okay, so since my primary concern with Savvy Gamer is simply to get my users the best deal possible, I instructed my users on how to go about circumventing GOG's regional pricing discrimination with technical measures. Essentially, it seems like what he's talking about is using proxy servers and other such things like that to falsify your IP and location to get access to a different, regional amount, and then make money off of that, which is illegal. For the release of The Witcher 2, blah blah blah, cumbersome. Let me put that right. Oh, no, that's.
GOG offered any customers paying the higher price store credit to the value of the extra they were being charged compared to other customers.
It says, rather than sticking with their stated policy, GOG have decided to charge customers from Russia, Ukraine, and some other countries a price equivalent to around £10 to £15 for pre-order. Proof?
Yeah, but even then, the thing is that they make significantly less in those countries. Like, they're just charging them, like, based on average wages. Like, that's how that works. That's why prices are usually cheaper in places like Russia. Because, like...
In India.
Yeah, because, like, the price... Like, the average wages in Russia is, like, a few $100s a month. Like, so they're just... That is charging accordingly. That's charging based on the market.
Okay. Whenever I argue against this practice, I'm always greeted with responses along the lines of, but why on earth should customers in relatively poor country be forced to pay the same as customers in relatively rich country? It's an argument with merit, but not one that matches with the reality. In my experience looking at prices globally, digital games are never priced in order to be fair to poor countries. Why are prices in the US almost exclusively cheaper than prices in the poorest countries within the EU? Why are well, that one is because of companies like Steam and Origin or EA and other things like that just not doing appropriate, conversions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are Australians notoriously served the highest prices when Australian customers? That's Australian taxes. That's actually not on the.
Australia just has higher price points because of where it is. Like, it's just remote.
Yeah, I mean, part of price discrepancy is common wages for the person factored into tax. The taxes that individual country has for import, export, or whatever else.
Remember, like, the minimum wage in Australia is like $18. So, like, they're not...
That's Denmark.
No.
Australia. Oh, wait, it's Denmark actually? I think Denmark's actually like $26.
Yeah.
No.
The Australian minimum wage is $16.87. So they charge more money because they're making more money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeez, Mark. Well, even then, it's the actual price jump. If you look at, like, I've talked to my friend Tempest Eris. He is Australian, and he's told me that the games there are more expensive, but so are the taxes. Mm-hmm. The taxes on said things like that are also much higher. So, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It does. This whole article, after reading through the majority of it, sounds or just feels very attacky.
It feels very.
And there's
like,
no
why do
sources
people in
here.
poor countries pay less money for things.
that's exactly what it's coming across like.
And there's no sources pointing directly to the figures that this guy is stating in here.
Yeah.
I actually looked on GOG and I did the conversion rate for 41.49 British pounds, $2, and while it is different, right? It's not that far off though.
Yeah.
Like 41.49 pounds is $61.79, which is $1.80 more than what a U.S. citizen would pay for.
Fractional. Like, it's not worth complaining about.
But I don't see anywhere. Like, can we go? All right, can we go to? GOG?
And this guy is also an affiliate for GOG.
Yeah,
he gets a cut of sales he directs to GOG, but has no problem instructing people how to bypass their regional pricing.
Yeah,
but the regional
to
pricing,
buy things for less.
Yeah, the regional pricing is specifically there so that people from poor countries can still afford to play games. Like, that's what it is. It's because, if fucking, like in Canada, because of regional pricing, it's about $65. But I mean, $65 in a country like Russia is like a week's worth of wages. Like, a lot of, like if you're like a teenager working at McDonald's, you know what I mean?
We pay like $74 for games here, but our dollar is so bad. That's kind of hard to. Where are you from? I mean, because 70. But yeah, like the whole article almost looks like it's as Nate worded it. It sounds like attacky.
It is.
Like they're just complaining.
It's just pouty. It's a fucking first world problem thing.
It's a first world problem.
Why do people in India not get charged as I do for things?
How come I don't get the best curry ever here? It's the equivalent of that.
Yeah.
My sushi's not nearly as good as it is in Tokyo.
All right, but to flat out kind of address what you were mentioning, Machine Annie, I don't. All right, I have an article from a bargain hunter in the UK. All right, I would not discredit it being true that certain countries do pay less.
Right.
For
Steam does that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not true. I would, however, say that it is illegal to do things like that.
Yes.
What he's promoting is more than typically illegal wherever the fuck you are right now.
Basically, like, I don't know. It kind of falls into a weird, like, it's guaranteed illegal, but it's weird the way it falls into laws. But it is.
It's like a gray market sort of thing.
It's essentially like a smuggling issue.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, basically, you're circumventing currency exchanges.
Yeah, that's
a problem.
Because you're now not only not paying what the market in your country dictates, but you're also like circumventing their taxes and things like that. And obviously, no country is going to be fucking okay with you circumventing their taxes.
Yeah. All right, so that's that. Sorry for picking up on that.
Little sideline.
Yeah.
It's an important thing to discuss, though.
That being the Mass Effect 4 potential leak.
Do you want me to cover that?
I looked into this. I may not have looked into it as hard as you did. I mean, especially since just because I don't know shit about Mass Effect, you know?
I might have some background kind of knowledge from other leaks that have been mentioned throughout the past half year. I can throw it in the mix, too.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Machine Eddie. Feel free to put that link in chat. I'll go over this. So, there's a lot of people that have been speculating on Mass Effect 4 and hunting around for it and stuff, and so far we've only really known certain things about it, basically what engine it's going to be in, and it's in development. But there was a leak recently, potential leak, not actually proven to be
no confirmation
anything,
of anything
quite legit yet. But the leak contains information regarding things like certain technical aspects of the game, conceptual things, nothing really, story heavy or spoiler sort of stuff. Maybe a little, but nothing like, this is the time frame, blah, 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 type of stuff. It's more along the lines of like what the game will be like on a mechanical level. Specifically things like the role you will take, which is, where's it here? The standout facts from the alleged Mass Effect 4 survey, which was a survey, there's the link in chat if you want to check that out, suggests that the game will be distinctly separate from the previous trilogy and will take on a role of a new hero, a pathfinder, explorer searching for a new home for humanity. They're saying that portion, and they're saying things like you can set up things like... what is the word for it? When you have a group of people take a form of land and start to build on it. Colony. Settlement, colony, there we go. You can start setting up certain colonies and settlements and stuff on certain planets. They're trying to, or boasting that apparently the game will have basically no loading screens. You can transition between flying on the ship, aka like the Normandy, to being on the planet, to landing on the planet, to getting out on foot, being inside the Mako, which there's rumors saying that the Mako is going to be in Mass Effect 4. A bunch of other stuff like that.
Now let me sideline that slightly in that there's an indie title, I can't specifically remember the name of it, but I've already seen the tech behind it, that does that. From space, from starting on Earth to anywhere you want to go in the galaxy, all seamless, procedural, down to the ground, through the clouds, back onto foot. It's possible.
No Man's Sky?
No, it's not No Man's Sky. I know that's similar, but...
Yeah, that's their big thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the tech out there is available, depending on how good they want the graphics to be, really.
On how much money they want.
Is it available to do something like that in Frostbite 3?
I wouldn't see why not. It's just a lot of just procedural generation. Taking little bits and putting it in there in the code.
I suppose. But yeah, this is a potential leak. There's no actual evidence to suggest it is true.
There's a lot of people like trying to confirm it, and a lot of people are convinced that it is. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely reported on. It's Jesus, sorry. So I mean, there's precedent to suggest that it could be pretty legitimate because EA has done this multiple times in the past. It did it with Dragon Age Inquisition, apparently, according to the article. So it's not like they've quit doing it because that was like their BioWare's last major release. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. It'll show people like if you're interested in Mass Effect 4, then something to look out for. Although I am not, as we discussed off cast.
Yeah. There are some things that I know that are kind of speculation as well. There were a couple sources, like a couple years ago, that at a convention there was a meeting that BioWare had with a group of I believe 20 selected fans from said convention. And they did kind of like a survey thing inside of there, kind of to discuss some things that they were planning for Mass Effect 4. Some of the major questions that came up were weird, and because they were weird, they actually make them a little more believable than things that you would normally hear from leaks. But one of them was along the lines of like, what was your 2 least favorite alien species? Or, a very classic question of like, do you want it to be would you prefer a sequel or a prequel? Or something entirely separate? And this was covered by some random faceless name on the internet that I had run into. They kind of talked about this event that was happening. And normally I'm pretty good on detecting when it's bullshit.
Right.
Why is that running?
Because your bot's up and you're going.
Why is that running? That shouldn't be there at all. But the questions in mind at this event that this person was talking about, they were so, non-specific kind of curiosity poking things that there's more reason to believe it than something like, the story's gonna be this, it's amazing, type of hype train nonsense.
Right.
So, they also kind of displayed some concept art suggesting a couple new species that they were thinking about. So that's like the stuff from like a couple years ago that I picked up on a while back. All we know for certain about Mass Effect 4 is it's done in Frostbite 3.
That it's happening.
That it's happening. It's in development.
And Krogan Baby Warriors confirmed.
Krogan Baby. I don't even give a shit about GTA 5 port right now.
They're gonna work.
Alright then.
Sorry, I feel like absolute crap right this second.
Yeah. Alright, so Rift Trials in Diablo 3 are getting removed by Blizzard, which are a thing I never really got to experience in Diablo 3, because I can't play fucking Diablo 3.
It was introduced along with the new update that they had a while back and the expansion. Rift Trials were a way to generate like higher tier Rift keys, so you can do, it's basically super end game content. It's like, your top level character, you're trying to progress through the Paragon levels, you got all this extra late game things that you can do post main story.
Right. And
apparently the people behind that game, Blizzard, a lot of the people that are working on it are kind of just like, we don't like this at all.
Yeah, I like that the direct quote from the senior technical game designer. Like, that's a very large position right there. It's just like, The trials are not good. We don't like them. I don't like them. Bye.
My favorite thing is every time I read that like a YouTube comment. Like, the trials are not good. We don't like them. I don't like them.
But yeah, like...
Be careful, you're going to cause somebody some distress and get locked up for 2 years.
They're removing it simply on the grounds of that just the people behind the game just don't like them. It's not really something like that, they were broken or there were any like community pushes to remove it or anything like that. It was just along the lines of like the dev team didn't want it. So they're just kind of like, fuck it, no.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they'll finally give us that PvP.
I thought they already had PvP.
Did they put it in?
I think they've had it for a while.
I haven't played in a while.
Can you still play? Because I know Nate can't.
Let's find out right now. Alright. We're gonna find out, kids. Can Gray play Diablo 3?
My wife just stole my beef stick, so I'm getting a divorce. Yeah, I mean, it's... Dog, get out of here. Come on now. Yeah, it's... I guess I get it to where he described them actually being in there as part of the iteration process. Kind of focusing on improving the game by allowing new things to be done. But from what I understand, they haven't been around that long, right?
I've never done them ever. Well, like, I still haven't gotten to endgame Diablo 3.
Alright.
Like, I played with... My history behind Diablo 3 was I played it at launch for all of 2 days, and I was like, Path of Exile is better. So I just didn't even play Diablo 3 past that point, and then a patch came out, like, I think it was, like, late last year, that fixed everything. Everything that I had that was a problem with it, and I'm like, alright, this game's fucking fun now. And then the expansion came out, and I didn't have enough money to pick up the expansion, so I beat the game. Inevitably, I got the expansion after that, and I just haven't touched it, because I haven't had time.
Yeah.
I did like the expansion.
I still haven't even gotten around to playing any of it.
I like that Eldritch Horror Cthulhu type deal. I'm a sucker for those worlds.
But yeah,
although
I mean,
Bloodborne does it better.
as it stands, if you're a person... if you're a person who plays the Rift Trials in Diablo 3, they're nice. They're not saying when it's going to happen.
They're just saying it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're just saying it's going to happen in their new internal builds that they have made to push out the next set of patches or whatever. The trials are not in there. So whenever those get released is when things will change.
Yeah. Mass Effect 4, yet still no Half-Life 3. Listen, Gabe Newell has so much money, I don't think he gives a shit about developing games.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Mass Effect 4 and Half-Life 3 is they wanted to make Mass Effect 4. Gabe Newell does not want to make Half-Life, and he is the owner of Half-Life. That's what people need to remember, is that he does not want to make it. That's it. That's all it is.
It just ends on a massive cliffhanger.
If he
entire
franchise.
There you go, Chaos. It is a Slim Jim, so eat dicks, huh?
Eat dicks, Chaos!
One day he gets this huge fucking urge, and he's just like, fuck, I want to make Half-Life 3. Then we'll get Half-Life 3. But guaranteed, he doesn't want to do that. He probably wants to just buy some third world country somewhere and become an emperor.
He didn't even want to finish making the content that they had planned for Half-Life 2, so why would he even bother?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I bet Gabe Newell just wants to buy some fucking third world country and become an emperor.
Yeah, that's the thing. We never got Half-Life 2 Episode 3. That was promised. And that right there is where he just stopped giving a fuck about Half-Life.
You know, it's probably because of all of the fucking people that are all like, Half-Life 3.
He probably also just doesn't, like, he probably knows, too, like, being a huge gamer himself, that, like, guaranteed no matter what the fuck he comes out with, people will be like, this is fucking bullshit. This isn't nearly as fucking
the
good
hype
as
is
I
too
want.
strong.
It could be, like, the greatest fucking first-person shooter to ever come out. And people will be like, this game sucks dick. Because it's been, like, fucking 13 years and people are just expecting the world from him.
It's the same problem with the new Star Wars movie. Mark Hamill went on record and told everybody to chill their fucking nipples because it's just a movie. He goes, it's not the second coming of Christ. It's a movie. we shot some shit on a soundstage. Calm down.
Guaranteed, because people didn't learn their fucking lessons from the prequels, people will fucking hate episode 7, like, no matter how good it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's gonna be the worst Star Wars movie ever made at this point.
Because I honestly feel...
Because there's a black stormtrooper!
Because I will... Okay.
So upset with that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't make any sense to me at all. People are like, fuck, I hate the new Star Wars. I can't believe they're not canon. They're not canon. And then there's a black stormtrooper, and they're like, stormtroopers can't be black. We found out they're all clones. And the movies we were complaining aren't canon.
Yep.
And then it was like, no, honestly, I, like, when it comes to episode 7, I'm like, if it is a fun action-adventure movie, I will have enjoyed myself. But people are like, if this movie is not Citizen Kane in quality, it's garbage. But guaranteed it's not going to be that, because it's fucking Star Wars. It's a space fantasy. It was never meant to be like this, amazing, like, piece of art that just goes down in history as one of the most significant moments. It fluked that it was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
between the original script and vision for the whole entire thing and what it ended up being, I mean, it was just, Lucas got lucky. That first movie was made on dirt.
Also, let's face it, back then, Lucas was actually fucking paying attention to the people around him. That movie was very much like a lot of other people's movies. And the second one wasn't even directed by him. And the third one, only the shitty Ewok scene was directed by him. Like, the reason...
And then he went to ruin all those movies in digital releases and replace the old man with fucking...
Like, that's the thing we forget, is that...
Fuck you, Hayden Christensen.
It turns out that Lucas's best moments weren't really his moments. Like, Indiana Jones was Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg basically saved that franchise. Because when, Steven Spielberg has talked about, all the stupid shit George Lucas has wanted to do in Indiana Jones, and, back then, he actually gave a shit and fought, and he's like, fuck you, George. He's like, that's a stupid idea. And I know, because I'm Steven Spielberg. No, I mean... It
is the second coming of Christ. You try living in your mom's basement for centuries reenacting Star Wars for all your... Chaos, I love you. Where's my chibi art?
Amazing.
Where's my chibi art, Chaos?
Doxy, where is my face?
No, honestly, it's just... Fucking... I don't know. Star Wars should be a fun movie, but if you expect anything more, then you should just not go and see it and then write scathing reviews anyways, because you'll get the same fucking effect. And it's the same thing if Half-Life 3 ever comes out.
Basically, yeah.
Start queuing up questions, nerds.
Yep. Q&A time with you peoples. If you have questions for us regarding video games, tech industry, Twitch, us, how much you hate us, how much you love us, how big you think our individual penises are, and how big you think they are combined,
feel free to send your answers to @SodaPoppin.
To tell us the penis size collectively.
Oh, man.
But I always have low expectations when I watch movies. All I ask is to be entertained. Well, that's all movies are supposed to be, is entertainment.
Honestly, there are some movies that are, like, they are really significant pieces of art. Like, but, like with anything, like, there's some books out there that really are supposed to be philosophical. But for the most part, almost, like, 99% of it is pop, right? It's pop fiction. It's just supposed to be entertaining.
Yep.
Like, if you're watching, or, I mean, even more so, like, if you're reading, something like, I don't know, like the fucking Prince by Machiavelli, like, you know, which is technically satire. It's satiring tyranny, but I mean, it was made to make a statement, right? I mean, but if you're reading fucking Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, like it's supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Even classic books were not made to be like these deeply philosophical things, with the exception of very few. They were made to be stories because they wanted to tell fun stories, and that's what the movies and games are too. It's like, yeah, you can have really deep ones, but you're usually, if you're looking for that, especially in a space fantasy movie, you're in the wrong fucking area. You want to watch something that's supposed to have a really deep meaning, go to Cannes. Go to Sundance, right? Like, you know, you wanna go watch something for fun, you go to your local, whatever the fuck they're called, Cinemax? I don't remember.
Oh, fucking fanboys are useless people, though, Z.
Fanboys are, well, I mean...
Nope, useless.
They do spend all of the money that keeps the franchise going. But they are not important to listen to. I do not respect their opinions, but I do like how they keep franchises going.
Mark, I can tell you, 5 to 6 inches combined is nowhere near. If anything, that's all gray. Because I have what's described as a clitoral hood at best, and Spike has a tic-tac.
I didn't tell you to fucking post it in our chat. I told you to send it to @SodaPoppin'.
So Mr. Euro's 24 inches each is way off the mark.
So maybe fucking learn to listen before you start insulting us.
Not unless Gray is such a big dick Canadian that he makes up, 6 feet just by himself.
This is why... this is why I don't really consider video games art, mostly because then people get all fucking snooty and self-righteous about it. The thing is, like, you're gonna find that regardless, and that's because essentially people are just expressing themselves through the
art is still art.
Yeah,
it's just it's still a form of expression. It's still meant to make you feel something. It's not made to change the world. Like,
Here's something I wanna kind of put out there for Z, because this is something that I get a lot. There's this constant argument between, like, is video games art? Is video games just a form of entertainment? And the thing is, it's a mix of both. Mm-hmm. It's an interactive medium, and that interactive medium in and of itself allows for the same traits that you get in art. Art is very much a mixture of expression and perception. The expression part is the creator, what they express, what they want people to perceive. The perception element is what the individual expects to see out of it. And there are many different games that they don't need to be super artistic or super over the top kind of unique stuff like Braid or Bastion or anything like that to be considered art.
Right.
A good example of a game that could be considered art that you wouldn't really expect it to be considered art would be something as simple as like Fallout 3. It's an open world post-apocalyptic RPG. And when you would look at it, you would just see it as kind of the interactive element of it, the video game portion of it. But there's also the whole immersive side to things, the environmental design, the way that the world is portrayed, the accuracy at which the world is portrayed, the different things that you can interact with in that world, the way that those things make you feel, from something as simple as the dialogue in the side of a stall wall in a bathroom that just says "eat shit" or something, to something as American oriented as the destroyed Capitol building. It's an art. It imbues some kind of response. Maybe not the exact same response from every person, but if it was the same response, it would be less of an art.
Yeah. As somebody who went to school for making video games, I am a freelance video game artist. I do concept art, I do 3D models, I work on textures, sculpts, all that sort of thing. And when you look at the whole process behind it, it is very much art. It's the creative collectiveness of an entire team putting out an experience. And whether you're looking at a painting, or you're going to watch a movie, or you're reading a book, or you're listening to music, all of those are an experience. Games just happen to be more interactive than most. There's a relationship between you and the game. Games are art. I don't care what anybody's argument is. From all of my experience, games are art.
Oh, absolutely they are.
I believe Z is also going into college for some kind of... I think really the biggest thing that Z's trying to say is that he doesn't consider them art specifically because of the responses people get when you call them art.
Those people are going to have those same responses whether it's called art or not. They're just snooty, self-righteous fuckfaces.
Those are the people who look at, like, a Picasso or something and say, oh, that's super fucking simple, that's not art. And
I mean,
it's... Like, don't get me wrong, I believe some artists are more talented than others. But, like, my whole point being is that it's still art.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Now, here's something that I personally kind of do to describe what is good art and what is bad art. A game... Specifically, a game that I would consider to be a good form of art is one that is executed without the intent on making it art. Because there are, well, like look at Fallout 3. Do you think that Bethesda's intent with that was to make a beautiful world? A world that when you look back on it, it creates hundreds of different experiences depending on where you're standing?
You see, there's a very distinct problem there in that the assumption that art has to be in one way or another beautiful.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Look, no. I'm not saying Fallout 3 is literally beautiful. I mean beautiful in its own way. Like, it's beautiful in a perceptive manner.
But what about Braid?
Subjectively,
Braid was
sure.
Very much intended to be art.
Yeah, and I thought Braid was annoying to look at.
I thought it looked wonderful.
I thought it looked annoying.
Journey was...
Yes.
Well, alright. Art is a very subjective thing from person to person. What you consider good or bad art is very subjective. Because it's not a thing that can be defined. It's a flowing, moving thing that evolves with time.
Yeah,
exactly.
But, I mean, it's the reason why people buy a painting that's it's the reason why White on White is such a famous painting. Because somebody looked at it, and even though I see nothing... They saw everything, right? I mean,
just Googled white on white, and Google fucking autocorrected as white on white crime.
Amazing. Yeah, very much so. Art is in the eye of the beholder. Just boiled down to the technical aspect of what makes art art. Video games as a whole, no matter whether with the intent or not, are art.
Yeah, it's my whole thing,
I don't know. We might be dwelling on it a little too long.
No, it's
a very valid question, though, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the thing is like... It's also very important to remember that when people look at books like say Catcher in the Rye, which was a very well-written book, and it uses a lot of different writing techniques, and there's a lot of talent that went into that. But people read so much into these books or games or movies or whatever, but a lot of the time they're not reading what the artist intended. They're just reading their own interpretation, which is the way you're supposed to do it.
Which is the point.
So, exactly. Like any artist that thinks that you shouldn't read your own interpretation of their art isn't really an artist. I'd agree with that. They're just that's very pompous. So really, I mean, what I would suggest to you is what you believe is art, you're not really wrong, is the way I would. Yeah. What I would say is art is your own interpretation of art.
Yes.
So, because art is an abstract concept. It is one of the most abstract concepts we have in humanity. So, I mean,
that being said about art being a very personal thing as to what you decide to be, good art or bad art, there is definitive ways to describe a good game and a bad game.
I mean, on a mechanical level, yeah.
On a mechanical level. In movies, you can do the same thing, too.
Yes.
In movies, there are very objectively good movies and objectively bad. But a lot of...
They can be objectively superior and you still subjectively hate them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The difference between subjectivity and objectivity.
Yeah. You can find that in paintings too. The technique behind the brush or whatever can be perfectly mastered. But if you don't find the subject interesting, then you're not going to like a perfectly built painting if you don't care about it. I mean, it works across all forms for sure.
Because it's like, honestly, if the only thing that mattered was objectiveness, then everybody would have the same favorite everything.
I'm down for that. Utopia, all one mind. Do it.
That's because you're a communist scum.
Look who's talking, socialist pig.
You're as red as the fucking maple leaf on my flag.
Alright, Machine Annie actually had a very good question. Do we think difficulty in games is often lazy? Example, instead of adding enemies, moving item placement, etc., just lower your damage percentage and that is it. Would like our thoughts on difficulty in general. Yes, I think we all agree on that one.
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh
we can point very specifically to Killing Floor 2 as an example of differences of difficulty. There's a difference. It's terrible just scaling up an enemy's defense percentages or hit point percentages. Mm-hmm. Now, like, in Killing Floor 2, they've done that, for sure, to scale enemies up to larger groups, but the higher in difficulty you go, the smarter those enemies get, the more they move around, and they dodge you, and they swarm you, and, there's an object to difficulty which needs to happen in games that makes the enemies smarter.
Mm-hmm. I think I've said this on my cast many, many times. With how I see difficulty, there's reasons why I take games that are notorious by people as being extremely difficult and super unforgiving, and then I just flat out tell them that they're not. An example being Dark Souls 1 and 2. I've played quite a bit of them. Myself, so this is not without personal experience, but those are not hard games. There's a long learning curve, but basically everyone that has put in over 80 hours in those games, it becomes second nature to play them.
It's trial and error.
Whereas if you compare that to a game that's not as finite executed, right? Where, Dark Souls, it's very much about learning the animations. And Dark Souls 2 fixed it a little bit with the New Game Plus methods. They did things where they added some new attacks to enemies and new enemy placements. But even then, the game is still very learn to do, and then there's no problem. Whereas if you compare that to a game like Killing Floor is one example. Another example would be Stalker. The way Stalker handles difficulty is universal damage. On normal, the normal difficulty, everything is at a universal even ground based on what that character is wearing, right? So, and as you scale that up, the damage universally goes higher. You do more damage, but so does everyone else. Which means instead of making it along the lines of, it takes longer to kill things because you do less damage, it's more along the lines of, death will happen much faster. On both spectrums. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but every time you reload into the game, the AI resets. So every single enemy that you were around, their pathing, their mentality is now different than when you first engaged them.
Yeah, I mean, like, some really good examples of bad AI scaling is, one of the biggest ones is probably Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
Because essentially, it's the same enemies. It's like everything is the exact same, except now they're like 200% more accurate, and their grenades always land in front of you. And it's it's not scaling in a sense that makes you feel better at the game, just that the game is being cheaper to you. And it doesn't add a new level of challenge, because I don't know, it's still the same thing. You're still playing the same game. Mm-hmm. Like a really good a really good way to increase difficulty is to just change the game and make it harder. I can't remember what game I was playing recently, but you just reminded me of it. It was oh Jesus, I'm trying to think of it.
That good old game, Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus.
When I was playing Jesus. And the Lamb, he hadn't come to Earth yet, and the Romans were just taking over left and right, and
Jesus Christ.
Fucking run with it, Gray.
And my sins, they haven't been absolved, and I was like, oh my god, what do I do? So what the so that's my story. I'm gonna leave the second part on next.
But yeah, a lot of people like to, I'm going to actually address what Zarin said, which was, I would argue there's a difference between learning what you have to do and being able to do it, though. And you know what? Yeah, you're right. Some people will have trouble just inherently with Dark Souls, all right? Absolutely. And that's a very perceptive thing. That's a very individual, personal sort of thing. Some people don't have, as Nate said it, the reflexes or coordination to respond in the right timing that is necessary for a game like that. But at the same time, if you look at Stalker, not everyone has the ability to aim with that type of precision as well. So it can be applied to both of those games, and the real question at that point then becomes, which one takes longer to become easier than the other? And usually Dark Souls will be the one that'll take the least amount of time to become easier, because everything is very very precise. Every animation, every tell, every movement cycle of an enemy. I mean, sure, every now and then you'll get into a point where you just bite off more than you can chew, but that's being reckless more than the game being difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I would still consider it being hard, like a hard game. I would just
for your
say
first
that,
playthrough.
I would say it's just as an experienced play, because even once even going from Dark Souls and to an extent Lords of the Fallen, and then playing Bloodborne, you get used to it, so you know how the rhythm works. But now it's new enemies, and it's every step of the way, you have to relearn, you have to learn a new enemy and how to fight them and where everything's going to be. So it's yes, it is easy after, but it's a fucking uphill battle before then.
Oh yeah. Definitely a steep learning curve. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, we're not saying
consider it a hard game. It's just it does get easy. I would agree with that. But that's only because it does a good job of training you. And then once you're trained, you can you're like the right hand of God.
Well, I mean, watch anybody play Bloodborne for the second time, and more often than not, you're going to watch them very deliberately turn corners because they know exactly where an enemy's going to be, and they're already going to have an attack ready.
Yeah.
For a first playthrough, it is hard, but it doesn't have a sustained difficulty factor, which is the main problem, I think, is just that it's a very lazy way to do difficulty. It works for a first experience, but I mean, I'm liking to use Killing Floor 2 as an example because Tripwire came out and said they hate the way that people do difficulty.
Yeah, and they nailed it.
I put over 30 hours into that game in the beta, and I played every single difficulty there is. And you can go into Hell on Earth as a level 1 perk whatever and pop Zed heads without a problem. It's not that they have more health. I mean, they do to a percentage, yes. They're just smarter, and they're more random, and they're harder to get a beat on. There's more of them coming at you. They dodge constantly. They move out of the way. They move away from each other. Yeah. They just come at you faster. They're just a smarter enemy. So no matter how much time you put into that game, they're still going to be hard 195 hours down the road. Just because they are, by all comparison, hard.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're playing a brawler... And instead of just, okay, now he has 300% more health, it's like, now instead of being able to just get in attacks by just mashing the X button, it's like, now if you try and do that, they're going to repose, and they're going to counter you and punish you for being lazy. So now you have, so now you have to time your attacks, and because now you have to be a better player. And
it's the fighting game mentality of difficulty, which I think actually works well. It's just that they don't necessarily get stronger; they just become more capable and harder to deal with.
Yeah, they just start actually fighting.
Right? Yeah.
Because I mean, it is pretty much the way fighting games do it, right? It's like you play on the easiest difficulty, and they'll throw a couple jabs, right? It's like you play on. And then, like, the next difficulty, it's like, okay, now they're throwing out a couple combos. And then you play on the next difficulty, and it's like, now they're using their specials, and they're blocking your attacks, and they're countering. And it's like, now you have to be a better player. You have to be good.
And if it's a King of Fighters game on normal difficulty, you're never going to beat the last boss, because fuck SNK.
Or Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter's not so bad. SNK is way more notorious.
If you hate learning combos.
So I think the overall consensus between all of us can be really explained down to how long does it take to learn the game.
I just think there's a lazy way and a good way of doing difficulty.
Yeah, I think that's the main point we all agree on. It's just that the current perception of what difficulty is not good enough, basically. Too few games do it right.
Borderlands doesn't.
Fuck BioShock. Can I say that for a moment?
Yes! Because BioShock's so...
Why would you fucking give him that... God damn it, Nate!
Because I played it today, and I spent 2.5 hours of my cast just full of salt. Because fuck BioShock.
It's... Oh my god. The balance just goes out the window, doesn't it?
It does.
Never
it's gone.
Give
it's
him
gone.
The opportunity to talk about BioShock.
I don't need to talk about it anymore. Everyone fucking... I've bitched about it so much over the past year. Everyone fucking knows.
It was my time to experience it. It's my time to bitch. Now it'll be my year to bitch about it. Oh, man. Spike enabler.
I am an enabler. That's why all of Twitch is going to be playing Stalker Call of Pripyat by the time we get partnered.
Stalker for Twitch 2016.
It's true.
Oh, man. Do we have any questions? Any other questions queued up?
I don't see any. Louis got your build figured out. Yeah, me and Nate actually helped Louis set that up on Sunday?
Yesterday?
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yesterday was the day I was done with the internet. I fucked off.
Was it because I was a poopy butt?
No. I don't know. My brain went places yesterday.
I don't actually see any questions that were asked.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So if we got no other questions queued up, we'll allow a few minutes here to kind of let that happen if you guys have any other questions. Otherwise, we're going to ask you a question. It's fairly broad. Should be nice and simple to answer this week. So answer the fucking question, nerds. But just, who is your favorite video game character across all of gaming history? From whenever to whenever. Who is your penultimate favorite video game character? Submit those answers out in chat. Submit them through the hashtag Tipcast on Twitter or
Good job, Gray.
tipcast@gmail.com.
Good job, Gray. You put that in chat before the delay caught up with everyone. Now someone's going to tell us an answer. You ruined everything. It's fucking ruined.
No.
Seeing if you're gonna do that, now we need to do
I'm
that.
fucking obsessed with spoilers.
Gray's the spoiler master.
You're obsessed with spoilers?
Yeah.
Oh,
I will-
that copy.
I will
Spoiler,
tell you guys-
die in Bloodborne.
What?
Nice.
You die in Bloodborne!
What?
That's it!
Is
Oh
the
my god, Servarium's on Steam! What?
That would... I didn't even look into that.
Servarium was a game that a bunch of people from GSC, the people that did Stalker, went on to do post GSC Falling Out.
Beachy used to play it.
It's a free-to-play post-apocalyptic online FPS game. If you're looking for a shooter where skills matter, look no further.
Is the bird really the word? No.
I'm gonna download this right now.
Hopefully it's better than when I saw it in action.
Yeah, it didn't look super great, that's why.
I watched Beachy play a lot of it. Beachman.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know. It was a very closed off thing back then too. That was quite a while ago.
I have the song from Hotline Miami stuck in my head.
Congrats, I guess.
This person played
Dude,
15
Hotline
hours
Miami's
of the
fucking
game,
amazing.
and his
Shut up.
review of it was, screen slowly turns green, dies from radiation poison, 10 out of 10. It's just...
Alright, if we've got no other serious questions queued up, I think we're going to call it right here. Work on our outros. Continuing in our continuous clockwise fashion of continuing in clockwise manner.
Your mother's an outro.
fucking, you know what? Victory trumpet, nerd.
No. Alright, Gray, that's starting with you, sir. Who are you?
Oh my
What do you
gosh.
do?
Not me! Not me!
Okay, I'll go.
I guess... No! Fuck it, I don't want Spike to go. Alright. I'm Supergrey38. I am a caster here on Twitch. I've been AFK for a tad bit, but I'll be back tomorrow because Co-op Tuesday is happening with the Game Pit, and we are going to play Killing Floor 2.
When does that happen?
So fucking excited, Spike. It doesn't matter when it's happening.
We hope.
It's just happening.
We hope.
How many
In the
of those
morning.
Slim Jims did you get?
Only 2.
Oh.
At 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Oh, so noon? Is it going to be out by then?
No.
It is not happening at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is happening some other
1
time.
p.m. I think is when Killing Floor 2 comes out, right?
Shut
Killing Floor 2... 16 hours
oh my
from
god, I
right
can't
now.
wait. You know what's gonna happen instead?
2, 14.
I'm gonna play
So it starts at 2.
The
So that
Hunter.
would be 11 your time.
Mhm.
Then I guess I'm playing APB Reloaded. Because that's what popped up in my recommended list.
Nice.
No, I don't know. We'll be playing it tomorrow. I guess a little later than expected, but
Yeah, well,
if you want
you have to figure it out.
If you want to start at 3, that's what I'm doing, Killing Floor 2, and we can just joint this up. Get it? 420 reference?
Because today's 420.
Swag. YOLO plays it. 420. Swag.
Twitch.tv/Supergrey38 at Mr. Grey1 on Twitter. Spike, go.
No! Hello there, everyone. I am SpikeSethen, a variety caster on the internets, also known as Twitch, which is the sole area of the internet. Google the amount of bandwidth they use. I'm right. I play the variety of things. I'm live daily on the Twitchiverse. You can find me at twitch.tv//SpikeSethen and SpikeSethenTV everywhere else. And on Chatterbait, you can find me as 69ing Gate Raccoons 420 YOLO shoulder deep.
420 hype.
You can find me there.
Pass the blunt.
But yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be doing some Killing Floor 2 as well, so I mean, that's going to be good fun. We'll see. I'll update you guys on the Twitterverse as to what actually happens with the press kits. Because if the press kits come through, we're going to be doing a giveaway tomorrow.
Right.
If not, then I probably won't be doing a giveaway. But we're definitely doing Killing Floor 2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing.
At some point in some time, in some way, we are going to be doing Killing Floor 2 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
At some point.
Killing Floor 2 is a release, which, by the way, it is going to be released tomorrow, which means if any of you guys are interested, it's going to be $30 on Steam. You can pick it up, and more than likely, you can jump in with us if you want to. But because, as usual, we usually do servers that are empty and then just let people jump in.
Yeah. All right, and I am Nate, TGPNate, TGP, TheGamePit, TheGameP1T everywhere else because TheGamePit was taken everywhere else except for Twitch.
Yay!
Yay! I'm a variety caster here on Twitch, live 4 days a week, 2 times a day, every day except for fucking Tuesday, basically, at this point. Or I'm only live once a day. Schedule down below. Currently working on Bioshock as my main playthrough. That should be done Wednesday. Tomorrow, Killing Floor 2 at some point with Gray and possibly Spike and a million other people. Wednesday nights are Dead Wednesday with me and Spike, which should hopefully be finally starting Saints Row the 3rd this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dead Wednesday should be Saints Row the 3rd.
Alright, and then Thursdays is Indiecade Day, where I look at different indie games. I didn't do it last week, so I'm going to be looking at 2 indie games this week. Normally I don't say them, but it's been so long now that I'll just say the first one is Titan Souls, and the second one is Potato Man Seeks the Truth.
Potato Man!
Potato Man!
I played a minute of that game, and I'm already furious at it, so it should be fun.
What is it? Like, what is it like? Potato Man seeks the truth.
Cat Mario.
Okay.
Have you guys ever seen Cat Mario? Because it's bullshit.
Nope.
I've seen Cat Mario. What is this?
I walked forward, and what I thought was the background killed me. So then I restarted, and I walked forward, and I jumped over it, and I went to jump over the next one, and it shot up in the air and killed me. That was my experience so far, so I expect it to be amazing.
I'm watching it.
Sounds great.
I'm watching a YouTuber play it, and it looks like basically a bunch of naked men jumping around in a city while cars drive by.
The part that I played was in a desert, so that's beyond my interest. But yeah, so that's going to be happening. Otherwise, this has been Tip Podcast, week number 10, with Supergrey38, Mr. Grey1, SpikeSethen, SpikeSethenTV, TGPNate, Kawaii Cat-tato, Potato the Strong, Swag-tato, Penislicious.
Oh my god, you gotta be a Swag-tato tomorrow.
I am working on Swag-tato already.
Awesome.
So.
I don't know. I kind of like Peter Dink-tato.
Peter
You gotta
Ding
go
Tato is
hard with Swag Tato, okay? You need a sideways weed cap with 7 blunts and like weed all over the picture. And a rainbow and a bottle of Mountain Dew somewhere.
A rainbow and a bottle of Mountain Dew. Amazing.
Fucking too strong, man. Who is
Lord.
this?
All right. Anyways, that's going to call it for us today. I want to thank you all for coming out, all of your amazing Twitter support.
Yeah.
All of you beautiful, beautiful people.
Beautiful people.
I think we'll end on a normal note today.
You mean like slowly getting closer to the mic and talking in rising tones as we get higher? My voice cracks. No. Hey, you want to see how close I can get to the mic?
I can't hear you.
How close can I get to the mic?
Can't fucking stop on references.
Penis!